Life in Michigan Business Beat brought to you on the Michigan Business Network. I'm Chris Holman in our studios in downtown Lansing. And we are joined here via the internet by Carrie Rosingana, CEO of the Capital Area Michigan Works, serving Ingham County, Eaton County, and Clinton counties, and other parts of mid-Michigan as well. And Carrie, it's always great to have you on. Appreciate you spending the time with us. Let's start with this. Can you tell me a little bit about this recent diversity, equity, and inclusion audit that CAMW conducted and the reasoning behind it?
Sure, Chris, and thanks again for having me. It's always a pleasure to talk with you. So back in 2017, we conducted a strategic plan for Capital Area Michigan Works. And part of that was that we wanted to conduct a diversity and inclusion audit to really assess where there might be some areas that we could improve upon. We are very committed to all things diversity, equity, and inclusion in the work that we do. And we always want to be mindful if there's areas that we can improve within our own practices and procedures so that we can make sure that we're welcoming for all individuals. So as part of that formal strategic plan, we laid out different steps and priorities and goals that we wanted to take to conduct this audit to make sure that we had a hands-on knowledge of where there were the things that we were doing that we felt strongly were great in our organization and where there were some things that we could improve upon.
Well, you know, we've talked a lot about equal opportunity before with CAMW's Equal Opportunity Officer and COO, Tekea Norwood. Can you remind us a little bit what equal opportunity actually means to CAMW?
Sure. So pretty simply put, to us, equal opportunity means that we get to play a key role in supporting all individuals who come into contact with our organization. That includes our staff members, our partners, our subrecipients and their staff that they have, the employers that we partner with, as well as any of those community partners that we work with outside of our organization. As I just said, we are very committed to all things that are diversity and equity and inclusion within our organization. And I personally have a strong passion to make sure that the work that we're doing is providing a welcoming environment for everyone that comes in to visit one of our American job centers. We actively comply with all federal and state non-discrimination laws, as well as make sure that all of the practices that we have in place for hiring or retention purposes are taking into account some of those best practices so that we can make sure that everyone who engages with our organization, whether that's a staff member or a partner, understands that we are committed to those efforts, and we try to make that a tangible thing for them. Beyond the fulfilling equal opportunity, we really strive for CAMW to be an organization to welcome those that have been historically excluded or underrepresented. So when we looked at and did our DE&I audit, we looked at communication channels to make sure that our website, our social media, our collateral for employers and job seekers, as well as all of our campaigns, were really doing that work to speak to our commitment to diversity and equity and inclusion. And we came out with some key takeaways to help us even further those efforts, including some simple things like making sure that our images that we have include individuals of all different body sizes and ages, making sure that we're accessible for those that may not speak English as their first language, and also making sure that our website is accessible for all individuals to be able to engage with.
You know, I think with all audits, with all surveys, they give you a realistic starting point, right?
They do.
So if businesses are interested in conducting their own DEI audit, where do you suggest they begin?
So when we looked at it, you really have to think about all parts of your organization, from the building that you use to the language that's in your handbooks, as well as the processes and procedures that you have. We recommend that businesses conduct these audits to help inform their strategies and their business decisions, because it can really create that welcoming environment that's going to help towards retention goals with your employees. To get started, it can be as simple as making a list of everything that your organization does. And I'm going to guess that that's going to be a pretty big list based on ours. And we know that every aspect of the audit really needs to come back to that list that you've made and make sure that you're reviewing to help make sure that DE&I practices are touching and connecting to each one of those areas that you identify. A successful audit, we know, will help you analyze that data. And we also know an important part of that too is you have to ask for feedback from your employees, where sometimes bringing in someone externally to help is a good thing.
I would think buy-in on the whole thing from your workforce is a very important piece of this.
Very important piece. And we were very fortunate. We had support not only from our staff in this work, but we also had tremendous support from our board members, from our different councils that we work with. They understood why we were doing it, and we made it transparent throughout the process to them so that there was an opportunity for individuals to feel like they really were participating during this process and determining our next steps to make everyone feel like they were playing a part in this audit.
Well, I'll tell you what, I think it couldn't come at a better time. So I saw a little statistic kind of off topic that 8 out of 10 interviews don't show up at the company they're interviewing at. What is that about?
You know, I think that can actually connect directly back to diversity and equity in the workforce. If you do not have a website in place, or you do not have materials in place that are going to create that culture right from the get-go, we're seeing that people are noticing that more than ever. So that's where this audit can really be helpful, so that it can help inform what those practices look like, and hopefully help get people to show up at those interviews because they want to work for a culture that's going to, you know, support them in who they are and what their own beliefs and goals are in their career.
Well, hopefully that'll turn around. Carrie Rosingana, CEO of CAMW, Capital Area Michigan Works, servicing Ingham, Eaton, and Clinton counties and beyond. Thanks so much for spending time with us. Keep up the good work.